Hi y'all, we're back. We're coming near the end of the March Craft and Style subscription box tutorials that we're going to do tonight. We will have more ideas for this vellum coming up in the future, but this is already a lot and I certainly don't want you guys to be overwhelmed. So we're just going through the tutorials that are included in the kit and included on the blog at popshopamerica.com. Click blog and click where it says craft and style instructions, which will drop down from the blog menu. So now we're going to make some really pretty pressed flower candles. Right here I've got my pressed flower lamp. I actually put my ivy and copper string inside of it just so you guys could see what that looks like because it's so lovely. I've got my candles right here that are like a glass vessel and just like a little votive candle, or tea light candle, excuse me. I've got my brochure with the instructions, and then I've got an array of pressed flowers right here, and I've even got a little bit of copper tape, which I love as well. And so for the copper tape, if you want to add any of that, we're just going to cut it into little pieces. Be really careful to not create too many bends or folds in the tape, and then just press it anywhere you like. Now the angle that I'm working is gonna be a little bit more challenging than what you guys are gonna do, but I'm basically working free floating so you can see everything. So it does make it a little wacky. And I just want to make sure that this copper tape is pressed really firmly. You do not have to worry about this conducting any kind of electricity unless you are flying this in a lightning storm or unless you stuck this in an outlet. Then and only then should you be concerned about it. So just use your best judgment and just try to stay safe and everything will be fine. And I'm just going to make another little stripe. So because we're working with copper tape, which is already in a stripe form, it's going to be easy for making like a kind of a color blocking with this copper, or making some like really graphic lines like these right here. But anything that's not like a line or very modern is going to be a bit of a challenge. But like, if you take a look at it, that's so cute and stylish already. All we did was add 2 little pieces of tape. And this one's not sticking perfectly, but that's okay because this copper tape does hold on the glass really well. We just want to make sure we're nice and firm with it. But see, that's already really super adorable. But if you kept going around the entire thing with these stripes, like how freaking cute would that be? But I think you know how tape works, so instead let's skip over to these pressed flowers since that is a bit more challenging. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take a tiny bit of this Mod Podge. We've got Mod Podge right here. I've got a foam brush right here. I've got my pressed flowers. And I am just going to take a piece of flour and brush it with my Mod Podge just really lightly. I want to make sure to get all of the edges that I can. Get some along the stem. I'm going to change my hand position so that I could get the bottom of this pressed flower as well. See, I'm just dabbing it with like the lightest little touch of Mod Podge all over the entire pressed flower. So just everywhere. And now I'm going to take this flower and I'm just going to press it onto the glass and press it into place. And it's okay if the edges don't adhere perfectly. Like, can you see that the edges right here are still raised? That's okay, because what I can do is I can go back over it. I just want to get an initial contact, make sure I have it in a spot where I really like it. This Mod Podge will dry clear, so don't worry about seeing it. So what we would want to do is we want to wait about 5 minutes or so and let that Mod Podge dry a little bit more. Mod Podge will take to completely dry probably about 10 or 15 minutes. It's very fast. It's about the same amount of time as acrylic paint or a lot of other liquid media that we use for crafting. And then we're just going to kind of dab it a little bit more. And you see mine is still a bit wet, but just for the sake of this tutorial, we want to move a little bit faster. And then that's going to help hold it into place. And then these parts will dry clear. So that's really it. That is all you have to do to make these gorgeous pressed flower candles. And so let's just see, just for fun, let's see what happens if we add the Mod Podge to the glass first and then press the leaf down. Oh, I don't know which one to use. Oh, it's like the final countdown. I want to use all of them. So I'm going to peel this one apart. This one had a bit of texture to it. It was just a slightly raised. So I just want to make sure that it's a little bit more flat. You know, and that works pretty decently too. Now we would be crunching, if this flour were a little bit drier, we might break it and crunch it with the way that we were pressing down, which is really why it's best to dab it to the flour first, but that actually worked pretty well. So it's the same story with this guy where we just want to go along the edges and just clean it up a little bit. Uh-oh, see, he fell off. So maybe that doesn't work quite as well. Let's fix him up. Yeah, so it's really, so the flour is the thing that has the texture, whereas like the glass is such a smooth surface, that really it's the flour that we want to add the glue to, if that makes any sense. The flour is the important part. Yeah, see, that's already, oh, that's so much better. Yes, much firmer. Okay, so adding glue to the glass first does not work that well. Fun experiment. And now we know. So I'm just going to give you another view of these pressed flower candles. So we're going to go handheld, and you can see my little mess pile. And there's our little candles. There's our lamp. Very pretty. All right, next we're going to make matchbooks, and then that is the last tutorial of the evening. Thank you so much for joining us. This is always such a blast, and I really appreciate it.